There is an island that many people believe never existed. It doesn't appear on most modern maps. No tourist boats stop there. No airlines fly above it. And almost no one alive can point to its exact location. Yet for generations, sailors whispered about the same terrifying story. An island that appeared without warning. A place covered in thick fog. A shoreline completely silent. No birds. No animals. Not even the sound of waves. In the late 19th century, a small survey ship reportedly spotted the island during a routine voyage. The captain believed he had discovered land that no chart had recorded. It was the kind of discovery explorers dreamed about. A landing party of 12 men was sent ashore. The crew watched them disappear into the forest. Hours passed. No signal. No movement. No voices. The captain fired a warning flare into the sky. Nothing. As the sun began to set, a second team landed to search for them. What they found made no sense. The first camp was still standing. Food was still warm. Lanterns were still burning. Boot prints covered the muddy ground. But the 12 men had completely vanished. There were no signs of violence. No blood. No abandoned weapons. No bodies. Only a trail of footprints, leading deep into the island's forest. The captain ordered everyone back to the ship before nightfall. But as the crew prepared to leave, the island itself seemed to change. The thick fog rolled in from every direction. The shoreline disappeared. The compass spun wildly. And for the first time, even the experienced sailors admitted, they had no idea where they were. They thought they had discovered an island. Instead, it felt as though the island had discovered them. The fog grew thicker with every passing minute. From the deck, the island was barely visible. The captain ordered the engines to start. Nothing happened. The ship refused to move, even though there was no anchor in the water. The compass spun endlessly. North, south, east, west. None of it made sense anymore. One sailor suddenly shouted, "There!" Everyone turned toward the beach. Standing near the shoreline were the missing 12 men. Perfectly still. Not waving. Not calling for help. Just watching the ship. Relief swept across the crew. The captain ordered a rescue boat into the water. But as the boat reached the shore, the figures disappeared into the fog. The beach was empty. The rescuers searched every inch of the shoreline. Nothing. Not a single footprint remained. It was as if no one had ever been there. Then, one of the sailors found something buried in the sand. A pocket watch. It belonged to the expedition leader. The strange part wasn't the watch itself. It had stopped ticking. Exactly 50 years earlier than the day they had arrived. No one could explain it. That night, no one slept. Every few minutes, someone heard footsteps circling the ship. Slow. Heavy. Always stopping just outside the light. But whenever a lantern was raised, there was nobody there. Just before sunrise, a loud bell echoed across the water. The sound came from somewhere inside the fog. There was only one problem. The expedition's records confirmed. There had never been a lighthouse on that island. Morning finally arrived. But the fog never lifted. The captain checked the ship's log. Something was wrong. According to the calendar, only one night had passed. According to every mechanical clock on board, 3 full days were missing. No one remembered them. Food supplies had vanished. Fresh water barrels were half empty. It was as if the crew had lived through days they could no longer recall. Then, a young sailor noticed movement near the cliffs. Someone was standing there. It looked like the expedition leader. His uniform was torn. His face was pale. He slowly raised one hand, pointing toward the forest. Before anyone could call out, he disappeared behind the trees. The captain ignored every warning. He ordered one final search party onto the island. This time, 20 armed sailors entered together. They tied a thick rope from the beach to the ship. If anyone became lost, they could simply follow the rope back. For nearly an hour, everything seemed normal. Then the rope suddenly went slack. The crew aboard the ship pulled it back. It had been cut cleanly. Not torn. Not broken. Cut. Silence filled the ship. Moments later, a scream echoed across the island. Then another. Then nothing. The captain made the hardest decision of his life. He ordered the remaining crew to abandon the search. As the ship finally turned away, the fog slowly opened. The mysterious island faded into the distance, until it completely disappeared. When rescue ships returned weeks later, there was no island. Only open ocean. No land. No cliffs. No forest. Nothing. Even today, some sailors still claim that on quiet nights, an island appears where no island should exist. And if you hear a distant bell, you're already too close. The captain never spoke about the island again. When the ship returned to port, the official report described the expedition as lost at sea. No mention of the fog. No mention of the strange bell. No mention of the island that had vanished without a trace. Years later, historians searched through old naval records. Most documents had disappeared. The few that remained ended with the same chilling sentence: the island could not be found again. As decades passed, the story became a legend. Some believed the crew had been driven mad by isolation. Others blamed magnetic anomalies that confused their navigation. Scientists suggested that thick fog, dangerous reefs, and powerful ocean currents may have created the illusion of an island where none truly existed. But none of those theories explained one disturbing detail. Several experienced sailors, from completely different countries, reported seeing the exact same island, at different times, over nearly 100 years. Each described the same silent beach, the same abandoned camp, the same heavy fog, and the same feeling that they were being watched. Then, in the 1970s, a fishing boat sent a short radio message: "We found land that isn't on the chart." Moments later, the transmission ended. The boat was discovered 3 days later, drifting across calm water. Its engine still running. Food still on the table. Every life jacket untouched. But the crew had completely disappeared. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened. Maybe there was never an island. Maybe every witness experienced the same impossible illusion. Or maybe some places aren't meant to be found, because once they find you, they never let you leave. If you enjoyed this mystery, subscribe to the Story Files. Every week, we uncover forgotten places, ghost ships, abandoned civilizations, and the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. Because sometimes, the most terrifying stories are the ones no map can explain.